Well, I need to welcome you back, and we're still the big story for today. And we're talking about the off-cycle governorship elections and the reaction that seems to be trailing its outcome, especially as a whole lot was experienced during the elections in Imo, Kogi, and funny enough, Bayelsa State. But anyway, I still have my guest here. It's no other person but Comrade FM&TV. But remember, we also told you we'll be joining no other but Mr. Berafa Bedford, who is a major observer in that very elections in Bayelsa State, to keep us updated on what's happening. We do know the final collation and announcement will be held around noon, with that of Brass and also Southern Ijo being expected to come in. But anyway, what will come in now is let's go get the message from our sponsors. Talking about Beneta Gas, and when we come back, more discussion centered on these off-cycle governorship elections.
Better quality, if you dey talk gas matter, oh yeah, follow Beneta. Gas with the better quality, Beneta gas. Where they full rich man to Beneta gas. Every brother na sharply, Beneta gas. Gas no mago, Beneta gas. Different type of gas cylinder, I be like that gas we go last you well, Beneta gas. For gas matter, Beneta now do. Them they run Beneta make you carry go.
For gas matter and home delivery, make you wire Beneta gas plant for 080-6745-7890 and 080-5904-7722. Beneta gas plant, the Tequele of gas matters.
We need to welcome you back, and that's our proud sponsors, Beneta Gas, located right here in Ughelli, Okokoko, Warri, and environs. And remember, the big story is big enough to accommodate all your businesses. All you need to do, come over, let's talk business, and definitely you'll be reaching our teaming viewers and listeners that will be eager to do business with you. But anyway, we're still with the business of the day, and we're talking about the issue of the off-cycle governorship election that was held during the weekend, and how that seems to be creating a whole lot of controversy, especially as it comes to the result with the PDP and also the SDP calling, and also the AA and Labour Party calling for the cancellation of the very outcome and of the results, especially as it concerns that of Imo, Kogi, and funny enough, we don't know how that of Bayelsa will be. But anyway, let's quickly go to our guest all the way right there in Bayelsa State, and I'm talking about Berafa Bedford. He's an observer of the elections, and let's see how he will really give us up to date on what seems to be happening there. Hello, good morning to you, sir. Hello. Hello, Mr. Berafa. Okay, let's see how we can really connect with him. Hello, Mr. Berafa Bedford. Okay, it looks as if we're having issues with the connection, and when we do, we'll try and see if we'll get him on board to give us a full update on what's happening in Bayelsa State. Yeah, we can hear you now. Good morning to you.
Okay. Good morning, sir.
Yes, welcome to it. Thank you so much, Mr. Berafa Bedford, for joining us. Well, let's quickly just go straight to it. We do know that there will be a continuation of the collation and announcement of the results, and that will start around noon today. That's what we're quite sure of. But anyway, I just want you to please walk us through your thoughts of the whole process, starting from what started off on Saturday morning to late last night. We want your thoughts as it concerns the election, and why the delay of the announcement of the result when we've had the winners in Kogi and Imo already been announced. So just help us understand what is the situation at the moment, and your own full thought of how the process went, right from that of the voting process, the arrival of men and materials, those that came out, were the numbers really appreciated, where did Nigerians, especially Bayelsas, come out to vote? Just tell us about the whole process and what you really observed, being a major accredited observer in that very elections.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity to share my thoughts on the Bayelsa State election. So far, so good. This is one of the most peaceful elections ever conducted in Bayelsa State. Of course, there skirmish of violence here and there, reactions and counter reactions. But so far, so good. The election has really shown that election can be done without without violence. That is the reality in biodiversity. But you understand that our terrain is quite difficult. We are more riverine people, so some areas are very, very far into the sea. So before materials to get there and putting process takes place and all of that. For the areas that I visited, I visited Yenagua local government and Ogbia local government. I even crossed the water to a particular village in Ogbia local government. The turnout was not so bad, but for Yenagua there was so much voters apathy. It was about 23.5% of voters that turned out, to come and vote in the capital. But at the hinterland, it was quite encouraging. Voters really, they were really active voters because of due diligence done by political parties and INEC, on voters education. So the voters education really paid us. For RIC, as RIC spokesman, we also did our bit, to educate our youth that this election should be without violence. Whoever emerges as governor eventually is a biased and is an injured person and deserves our support. So we don't need to kill ourselves, for that to happen. It was really quite encouraging. Only yesterday, something happened at the Brass where a life was lost.
We'll come to that, Bera, for Bedford. We'll really come to that security situation. But okay. I want us to still remain with the process. Let's compare these to that of 2019 or 2020 to be precise, rather, and look at the numbers that came out. Would you say the numbers are better off than they were during the last elections?
Of course, it was better off. It was encouraging. It was better off. You will see practical voters coming out in mass to vote with this diverse initiative. It has really helped a whole lot. There is a whole lot of education. People came out, but in Yenagua, the turnout was a little low. It was 23.5%, which was not so encouraging in the state capital. But at the hinterland, in Ikeremo, in Sakbama, there were enough people came out, to vote. For the areas that I went, I could see individuals, see human beings coming out to actually vote, and that is so encouraging. The turnout for this year was not so bad for me, but it could be better anyway. But it was not so bad after all. Okay,
now let's leave that, and we're happy that the numbers are really appreciated than they were in the last election. But let's look at some of the issues we learned played out during the elections and even after that. Like one that happened yesterday, we learned that there was a protest in Yenagua yesterday where hundreds of the People's Democratic Party protesters were demanding that the results of election conducted in Nembe local government area should not be brought to the collation center. But we do know that the APC stronghold seems to be also in Nembe, and we also do know that the All Progressive Congress candidate, Timothy Silva, scored about 22,243 votes. So what is the issue that seems to be surrounding that of Nembe, and why is there a protest around it?
All right, in Nembe, there is an accusation or an alleged mutilation of results, diversion of materials, and even INEC officials were held hostage against their will, to thumbprint and do some illegality to infiltrate the beavers and do what they wanted to do. So three words were cancelled. Eventually, I think as a result of that protest, because INEC officials were actually abducted, results were mutilated according to the PDP personalities, and INEC looked into it, and cancelled about 3 words, and those 3 words, the APC also was stating that those 3 words gave them over about 28,000 votes. So 28,000 votes has been, deleted, has been cancelled, and they were also agitating. I was at the collation center yesterday when the Nembe result was called in, and after it there was a protest by the APC party agents. He stood up and he was really venting his anger and saying that how come 3 whole words were cancelled, and he said elections actually held in those 3 areas, and results have been uploaded to the IREC, and that the returning officer does not have the power to delete those results, to cancel those results. So of course, I'm sure I'm expecting a litigation, to take its course after the whole process, because those results are
sorry to cut you there. What of the Independent National Electoral Commission? Are they going to have a reconduct of that very election, especially with those 3 wards, or they are just going ahead with the collation of the result without saying anything about it?
They're just going ahead with the collation of results, because before now, INEC has said any area where they cancelled is cancelled, stands cancelled. That's what INEC has initially said. So when they canceled those 3 wards due to the security situation, they just called the result. That's why you see that eventually it was 22,000 some fraction for the APC and about 4,000 something for they actually admitted the result. But that INEC as an umpire does not have the power to respond to legal issues. So their duty is to announce the result that is before them. If you are not conversant, if you are not good with the results announced by the INEC, you can go to court. That is the usual practice.
Okay. Now let's leave that and rather look at also another contending issue, and one you raised initially, and let's look at what played out in Brass local government area, where we heard that some INEC officials were held hostage. How true is that, and have they been released? And what of the security issue? Because we also learned, like you said, that a man was killed yesterday. His name is George Siho. He was reportedly killed by political thugs in Brass local government area. So let's look at this. Let's look at that issue that played out in Brass. Have the INEC officials, have all of them been released? And what seems to be happening with the issue of the man that was allegedly killed yesterday on account of the elections?
Well, it's starting perhaps as a spokesman of the Joint Council that had to happen. It was really starting, and I also issued a statement, discrediting that act of killing, because for us, any job person that is lost as a result of election is a generation gone for us. But that was the reality in Brass. Usually in Brass, and namely to supply those divide area, it's a recurring event. But George actually was killed, by allegedly by the APC loyalists, according to reports that got to us by our agents, that our officials that were on ground. They said, I know they were agitating, challenging the fact that they are trying to mutilate results. Then some thugs came, some APC thugs, allegedly APC thugs came and shot, and indeed George was the accidental victim that went down. Even that was the sad incident that happened, a confirmed incident that happened in Brass. But when I left the collation center yesterday, it was said clearly, because they actually adjourned to about 7 p.m. Eventually, they came back and say no. The Brass people just finished and they are coming, so they adjourn the collation of results for 12 noon. So I believe that the security agency, which have been acted so professional in this election, are on top of their game, and that the abducted INEC officials definitely must have been released because we've not gotten any other information. But of course, I'm sure the security agency are on top here to ensure that their release will be facilitated as it were.
Okay. Now let's leave that, but look at the election itself. As it stands, we do know that the People's Democratic Party seem to have had about 5 local governments, especially with the result being released already, and that the local government has been declared by INEC as Sakpama, Ekremo, Yenegua, Kolokumo, and Ogbea, while that of the APC is Nembe, which also, like we asked you initially, that the People's Democratic Party seems to be protesting about. And we also do know, as it stands, the People's Democratic Party seems to be leading with the already 6 local government being released by the Independent National Electoral Commission. It's over 137,909 compared to that of the All Progressive Congress, which has about 73,503. While that of Brass and Southern Niger is now being expected, like you said, which will definitely be released during noon. But my question now is, what the recoming of Brass and in Southern Niger having those votes, would it make any difference with already what we have on ground with the People's Democratic Party leading? And the reason I'm asking this, we do know with reliable information that Timothy Silva is from Brass local government area, and funny enough, his running mate, and we're talking of no other person but Joshua Masiva, is also from Southern Ijaw local government area. So that are the two major areas now that we're expecting results to come. But my question is, with the result coming, will it make any difference with already that distant lead that the People's Democratic Party is having against the APC?
All right, thank you very much. Actually, the winning margin is over 64,000,
yes.
64,000 votes. But of course, for us in Bayelsa, Southern Ijaw is in quotes, termed the Kano votes.
Wow. In
question, it is called the Kano votes because there are a large number of persons that registered, and it's the largest local government in Bayelsa State. So of course, a miracle happened, and the APC may spring up surprise. So it's not over yet. 64,000 votes. What can come out from Brass and Southern Ijaw, it can really upturn the results. Obviously, the last time it was 3 local governments that the APC used in scoring that high. It was due to cost and all of that. That's what transpired the last election. So this time around, Southern Ijaw has over 100,000 votes expected. Brass also has over 70-something thousand votes expected. So over 100 and close to 200,000 votes is hanging on a pendulum. So of course it is not over because those are the number of votes still expected is way above
what is already there.
The PDP is getting. So of course those local governments are very vital to conclude the elections. So it is not over for the APC candidates, knowing fully well that Timothy Silva is from Brass local government and Joshua Masiva is from Southern Ijaw local government. So of course they are very positive to say that they will score and they will take the day. Due to diligence, according to them, that they've done during the campaign. So they're expecting that the voters will really complain for them and they get their bed. But my worry so far in this election is the issue of vote buying. It's really very crazy, and the INEC really needs to do a whole lot. Of course, the people are part of the problem. I don't see any reason why voters will keep collecting money to vote. My brother, I tell you, over this period we saw with our eyes over some polling units, about 40,000 were being paid. Some polling units. Some polling over 50,000 was paid. Some polling units 10,000, 5,000. Now the report that we got, and it's quite certain, and that at this point in our democracy, when we are talking about getting leaders that will understand the pains of the people and seeking for solutions, the issue of vote buying is still at the front burner in our politics. It's really quite saddening.
Okay, well, I'll play with you, Berafa, on the mind you're sad about that, to hold on a bit. We need to go on the break now. But when we come back, we'll continue our discussion as we await the final announcement, especially as it starts around noon, which is just barely 3 hours from now. Let's go on the break and we'll come back and have some more talk.